Okay, I'm going to go through a sample application using systems of equations. And here we have the problem. Admission to a skating rink is $4.25 for children, $7.50 for adults. If one evening the skating rink collected $930 and 150 people were admitted, how many children and adults went skating? Okay, so basically what we're talking about here is we can set up two equations for this. Now this is what we call a value problem. And value problems have a basic setup that they follow each and every time. And that is that you're going to have one equation that represents the total value in the problem and an equation that will represent the total number of items. Because in a value problem, like when you're going shopping, if you're buying 5 shirts at $10 a piece, the idea is that you take 5 times 10 to get the fact you're going to pay $50. So in this case, if we have $4.25 times the number of children tickets or children admission, we would know how much money they took in just for children's going skating. So on all these equations, we're going to set two things here. I'm going to go ahead and set up a chart. And the first thing I'm going to deal with is that I'm going to have to assign X and Y to certain pieces of information. So we're going to start out with X. So we're going to start with here. This will be the number of adult tickets okay, and that's going to be X. And then the number of child tickets is equal to Y. Now, as far as value goes, so we're going to go like this here. So here I have number tickets. If you want to do a chart format, we'll have X and Y. Now, the reason for this is, what if we find out what is the value of all tickets? Well, if the adult tickets are $7.50, if we take $7.50 times the number of adult tickets, we'll have the value of all the adult tickets. If I take $4.25 for the children's tickets, multiply it by the number of child's tickets, then I'll have the value of all the children's tickets. Think about going to the movie theater. You got 4 adults going and it's $10 a piece, you're paying $40. You got to think of these problems in real life situations. Now, the idea that we have here is, so far we have the individual amount. This was the adult and the child. But we also had some other information. We had a total. We had a total number of tickets was $150. The total value for all the tickets purchased was $930. So this column represents our money. This column represents the individual items. So really, if you can collect this information, you have your equations ready for you, because the idea is you have a total, and total means to add. So we have an equation of X plus Y is equal to 150. That's one equation. Oops. And that comes from right here. Okay. Now, the other equation is going to be $7.50 X plus 425 Y is equal to the total amount of 930. And again, I got that equation directly from here. So, value problems are very basic to set up. That's the toughest part. Once you get the two equations set up, it's a matter of deciding how you're going to solve this. Now, there's a couple things to do. You can leave it as is and say use elimination method, where you would decide, okay, I'm going to take the x plus 1, and let's say I'm going to multiply the x by negative 750. So I'd multiply everything by negative 750 and do elimination. You could also do substitution. So I would use the first one, it's much easier, and maybe solve it for y. So y would be equal to 150 minus x. And then I could take this 150 minus x and replace it here in place of the y. Now, if you also want to, and you don't want to deal with the decimals in this second equation, you could multiply every term in the second equation by 100. And what that will do is that it will get rid of my decimals here by moving the decimal point 2 places. So this would become 750x plus 425y. But the key is make sure you multiply the 930 by 100 also. So there's the equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and solve this equation using substitution. So I'm going to take the second equation, I'm going to go ahead and leave it multiplied by 100. So I have 750x plus 425 times, and the value of y here is 150 minus x, and that is equal to 93,000. Okay, and I basically work through this, so we have 750x, and then 425 times 150, 63,750, minus 425x is equal to 93,000. So we keep solving. We have our combining like terms. So 750 minus 425, that gives me 325x plus 63,750 equals 93,000. And we just keep solving. 63,750 will subtract from both sides. Oops. Alright, so now what I've got is I've got 325x is equal to 29,250. Divide both sides by 325. And what we have is that x is equal to 90. So what we have here is we have 90 adult tickets. Now, in the original problem, they asked us not only for adult tickets, but also for how many children. So I simply take the answer of 90, take it back to one of the equations. So in my case, I'll probably take it back up here to y equals 150 minus x, and say, okay, y is equal to 150 minus the x of 90. So y is equal to 60 child tickets. So our final answer, we want to make sure that we've always answered the question that's been asked, is we have 90 adult tickets and we have 60 child tickets. And there we go.